I have my tools, I have my water. It's gonna go right here. I'm going to try two things today. And one of them requires a light color pencil. Sorry, I did not tell you. We're gonna do maybe a little something with like a white or a light colored color pencil. Now I'm just gonna sharpen that because it's pretty dull. But then we're gonna play around with the other parts of this using the same technique. So the first thing we're going to do is, if you can find a round cap or something that you can trace, let's draw a circle. Otherwise you can freehand it, that's also totally fine. It's just not as fun sometimes. And if you want to do a few of those, or you can find maybe a larger round object that you can use to draw, or even a smaller one. We're going to be doing little planets. Planets. So I'm just going to do two on this piece of paper. And one will be the moon, and one will be not. So for the one that's the moon, I'm going to just start drawing some circles with this light colored pencil. Luckily, with the lighting, you can see it better than in real life. In real life, this pencil is very light and almost invisible. You can press kind of hard with this because you don't want this area to get any color whenever we do our watercolor part. Just a nice variety of different circles will do. You can do even like a couple little bumps. That's kind of how I do my moons. And I'm not really looking at the real moon, I'm just guessing. You can also look at a real moon if you want. I know that the moon often has these little like bursts, so I might do that. Kind of press harder in the middle, woo, and then press out from there. And then maybe a couple light, smaller circles around the edge. Okay. Maybe I'll do one more little burst here on the side. So really, it can be free-flowing, it can be super fun. Very simple. Okay, now we'll go to this smaller one. This will be our second go. I'll do maybe more like a Saturn-looking planet. So some waves, or maybe this is more like Jupiter. I don't know. I used to know the planets better, how they looked. But a lot of them do have kind of these striations. Okay. And then maybe one from this side that's nice and dark. Kind of get that variety. Okay. So what this pencil is going to do is it will kind of add a wax layer to these areas, and the color will not go through to that area. I'm going to make my planets, even my moon, kind of darker. And I do have a white ink that I'm going to use. If you don't have anything like this, maybe try and stay on the lighter side. I will do that with you toward the beginning, and I'll kind of let you know when I'm going overboard, because I'll be able to use some of this on top. All right, so grab your beautiful brush and we're going to start painting all around that circle. Nice and juicy. You can have a lot of water. My watercolor paper is a cold press. Oh shoot, I went outside the line. That's okay. I plan on cutting these. So it's a cold press Fabriano watercolor paper that is incredible, but it is a little pricey, and I just have scraps left at this point. But I highly recommend playing around with that if you feel like it. It's really, really good paper. And yeah, you can go out of the line. There's no problem because we're going to cut it. All right. We'll leave that for now. Or, I mean, we won't touch this one. We're just going to work on this one. Grab a color. I'm going to play with blues and purples because I want my moon to be kind of realistic, I guess. These are really, really strong pigments, so they are going to be very bright. I'm going to lightly dab, and I'm going to kind of stay around the edges because I want my moon to have a little bit of form to it, so it's lighter, kind of like a sphere would be lighter in one area. I'm trying to see if I have a sphere to show you. Well, yeah, usually there's going to be light hitting one part of the object and then there's going to be darkness on the other side. So I'm going to make my left bottom side darker. And it looks like my watercolor pencil may not be working very well, which I didn't think would happen, but possibly that's because of the cold press. So don't worry about it. We can go back in with some white. I'm going to use a little bit of this purple. And you see it's really, really dark. So I can take my brush and I can actually move some of this around. And then I can even tap with my brush around to get lighter shades and kind of move that. And this is ink, so when it dries, it's done. It's not like watercolor in that way. If you have watercolor, you can still kind of move it around a little bit. But like this part is pretty much done. Which I kind of love, but it's just a different way of going about it. Okay, before it gets too dry, I'm going to add some of this white ink. Oh, yeah. This is a total experiment, by the way. I don't play with these too often. I used to do a lot of stuff with them, but it was a very small amount of techniques that I would kind of rotate through. So this is new. But basically, knowing how they work, you can kind of guess what's happening. And a lot of it is, with these inks, I find is just like, just letting the beautiful things happen. So I might even blow on it a little bit, or just let it fall. Oh, I love that. Just let it do its beautiful thing. Okay, the next planet I'm going to do is going to be red and orange. Actually, it's going to be yellow, orange, and red. So here's kind of a pinky red. Here's like an orangey red. I don't really have anything in between. And then here's a yellow. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to just paint a layer with water. You don't even have to worry about painting in the lines. I mean, this is like the easiest thing. And then it's so fun at the end. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. Again, you can dab this in with some watercolor. And you know what? I might do quite a bit of yellow in this one because I want yellow to really cover the whole base. So I'll take my brush again. Maybe I'll kind of wring it out so it's not too wet. And I'll move this around so that I have a pretty good yellow base, even if some of it's light yellow. I just don't really want any white space. Alrighty, and then I'm going to take the next lighter color, or a slightly darker color, which would be this orangey red, because this pinky red has way more saturation. So we're going to go with this one first, and I'm going to maybe kind of go in the striations, in the way of the striations. And again, I'll consider this side having more tone, which would be like, tone is like a term for darkness, more color, but also just more value. And then I think with this I'm gonna blow on it real quick, so pardon me. Okay, yeah, I'll just soften it a little bit. Look at that, that's gorgeous. It's like an ocean. Okay, and then my last part is going to be this pink. And with this one, maybe I'll even drag it. Sometimes I want to play. And I might lose some of the markings, but it does add kind of a line there, which is really cool. Now I'm going to go back in and add a few more drops of really vibrant yellow, because this got kind of washed out. And that yellow is gonna, oh yeah, it's gonna pull the stuff around. So we are going to let this dry, and I'll come back and we'll finish it up once it's dry. Alrighty, we are back, and a lot of my details disappeared. So I'm gonna take some white paint, and I'm going to just add a few of those back in here. So little circles, some texture. I do want that little burst again. But I love how this turned out otherwise. I really love the way inks and watercolors mix, and they just add this beautiful texture. It's like, it's just so fun. So I see some of my lines. I'm just gonna go over them. Especially since it was like a peach pencil. And it looks kind of strange with the blues. Okay. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe I'll kind of darken this. All right, and that should be pretty good. Now I'm not going to do white on the other one because oops. I just want reds. I want that richness. So I'm gonna take a red and pink color pencil, and I'm going to start getting those striations back in there. Just kind of drawing these squiggly lines. Whoa. And then I'll do the same with the pink. Cool. Coolio. I might even take this blue pencil because it will actually show up, yeah. And on that edge, I'm just going to add a little something, something right here. It kind of makes it look like it's darker on that side. Alrighty, then I'll take my scissors. I guess I didn't share all of these materials with you in the beginning. Sorry about that. And I'm going to cut out my little planets and my moon. Now, one thing I do not have that would be really, really fun is to put glitter on these. So if you have glitter, highly encourage it. There's Uno, looking pretty good. And something with cutting, I like to cut and turn the paper. That helps me get a really nice controlled edge. Most of us adults know that, but I remember teaching kids, something we had to kind of show them. Okay, there we go. So now you have two little planet-y things. I have my little, I don't know, Mars or something, and my moon. And what you can do is you can put them up on your wall. You can even punch a hole in them and kind of hang them like a mobile. Or you can even write a note on the back. I have something on the back of this one and this one, I guess it was because it was scratch paper. But you could write a little note, put it in an envelope, and send it to a friend, and be a nice little welcome treat.